I had such a crazy dream. This is 6/11/25. So the scene starts. A family's having dinner, and boom, the house gets cut in half. Um, the daughter and the son, I'm in the son's perspective right now, they manage to escape from the house, and they see that the city's in ruins almost. I guess you could say it's still like spreading out through the city, the destruction, and there's aliens and stuff like that, and the boy and the girl, they're running, and then the girl gets separated or captured, whatever, and the boy realizes he's been turned into like a monster like creature, but he has the will, or the power to turn into like a flaming dragon cycle, right? So he's managed to escape, and then it cuts from him, but he'll come back later in the dream. It cuts from him, um, and it goes to the old man. The old man with his wife, they're doing like some sort of roller skating activity in like this dance studio, and the old man goes away from his wife real quick to go talk to the dance studio manager. He's skating. He's really getting it, quite honestly. Um, and then he comes back, and then he realizes that everybody's been infected with some sort of mind altering virus that makes them lose their mind. And so his wife starts freaking out on him. So he's like, I gotta get out of here. So he leaves the building and he's skating. And then it cuts to Earl from it's not Better Call Earl. I'm not mistaking that for something else. But like Earl, the guy who has to go apologize to people, and he's planning to go apologize to this old man because he put him in jail or something like that on accident with his girlfriend, and so they're both in the car. And now it cuts back to the old man, and the old man is skating around the building, trying to figure out where am I going, where to get out of here, But he's still in his skates because he's an old man. That is his quickest transportation right now, is staying in those skates. And then Earl sees him, and Earl doesn't try to necessarily kill him, but from the old man's perspective, aka mine, it really looked like that. So he's skating and trying to get away, and the chase goes on for a hot minute, and then it looks like he gets away, but then Earl accidentally hits him, and like hits him so hard that he gets pit inside like a building, like in front of like a regular old ranchero style house, and then he hits him again and again and again, like three more times. And then like almost like gets buried with mud, like wet muck. Um, and he gets up. He's like, "Oh my God, you tried to kill him." He's like, "No, I didn't. know about my bad, man." And then we see that the cities and everything around us is just burning. So we're like, we gotta get inside the house. So we go inside the house, and there's two kids and a butler in there. One of the kids is upset, so he locks his room with the butler and him in there. And the older kid, um, kind of butthole, but he was like, yeah, I forget what he said. And then Earl transforms into my work buddy Darius, big fat dude, and the girl saves the girl. Uh, so we're inside the building. We're trying to figure out what to do next, and then it hits me. These mother just hit me with the car. So bang, bang, bang. I pot the girl in the mouth. One, two, three, and I leave the building. I almost like get her leg, and I close it at the door, so I mess up her leg pretty good. Um, and then I look to go see the car, and I'm like, I don't have the keys. So I go back inside because the go get the keys, and I also see that the house and everything is like gooed up, like other houses are looking like destructed and stuff like that. So like, I gotta stay inside the house. Um, so I go inside the house. I look for the keys, and then Darius tries to stop me, and I pop him in the mouth. But he's a fat dude, so he rolls over me. I'm like, okay, man, all right. And then I make him look the other way, grab the keys. I'm about to run out, and then I see that, and I come back in, actually, and then the kid comes down, looks us dead in the eyes, and just turns into a yellow worm and starts to slither. And I see that, I'm like, yuck. So I grab the worm and I squish it. And then the worm turns into multiple worms, and I keep doing that. And it gets super small. And I'm like, oh my God. And it goes underneath the couch. I'm like, I can't find it. And then the girl wakes up and she pulls up her phone, and it's like a national alert. Do not squish the worms. Police will come by. Blah, 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 to deal with the worms. And I'm like, uh-oh. So now we're figuring out what to do. We found like a Gucci bag. And I'm like, and then the lady turns into Nia. And I'm like, Nia, take the books out of this bag real quick. We need to capture the worms and put them in the bag. Nia's like, I don't know. I don't want to do that. Let's just put them in the bag regardless. They're going to eat through the bag. And I'm like, shut up, Nia. We need the room. There was a whole bunch of bugs in there. Please. And then I yell at Nia. Nia starts crying. Um, but uh, but I'm like, okay, whatever. So I put the books at the bottom. I start trying to collect these worms, and they were like, all right, this is impossible because there's a queen worm in here somewhere. So we leave the building, and we see that all the other buildings are now gooed up and stuff like that. So we all just start running. This is when I transform back into me. Um, and I get captured by this goo family, right? And the goo like takes on the shape of the previous family that they devoured or whatever they do. Um, or maybe it's like their whole like goo civilization. Either way, the worms were goo, then it turns into goo people. So the goo people they feed off of me slowly, like off my energy or whatever. And so now they've got me captured for quite a while, to the point where now the city is not destructive. It's nothing like anything's fire or burning or anything like that. But the city is warped and transformed into something strange, right? So and they keep me around on like a goo covered leash that's connected to their body. Um, so I can never go too far. And it really felt like I could feel it too. It almost felt like that canned goo that you spray on people, but like strong. So I couldn't get away. And this other goo person who's a goo drug addict, guy who lives by himself, but he's still goo, tries to take me because he needed food. And then the goo family says, no, blah, 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 blah. And then start talking to him like a whole, like, regular talk with him. And then we decide to leave his basement where he was trying to keep me, and the family takes me back. Of course, I'm still trying to get away, and as we're walking back, there's like a split section, so I split from the goo family, but the goo mom is attached to me, and the goo family's odd because they're like, "Don't worry, we'll keep up with you." So I'm running away, trying to get away from her, and then I see like this water pipe, or more like a water slide kind of thing. And I go down it and I see the water. And the water detaches me from the goo and it makes the goo unstable. So I'm like, oh my God, I can get away. So I go down the slide and I go up and I'm just about to reach the point where I go into like this water area, and then it's the city beyond that. But then I slide back down the slide. And I'm like, oh my God, oh no. And I go back, and then the slide gives me just enough that I look like I'm about to go over again, and I slide back down. And then I see the goo dad coming down. And the goo dad tries to capture me. And I'm like, no way. So I climb back up, and I jump into the water, and I start swimming away. And I leave the goo family, right? And I'm leaving, and I'm trying to get away to the city. And as I get there, I remember this is a side thing that happened, but Terry Crews was trying to use a boat to get across and then jump the rest of the way of the water. Everybody thought that was crazy. And I thought that was crazy too. So I'm getting there. I'm like, oh my God, I can take the boat. And then I see a giant fire salamander across the way. And I'm like, all right, those can swim. Maybe not the boat. Um, so then I transform into the perspective of the boy who could turn into the dragon fire wheel thing that can move around really quick. So I'm moving around the city, And then I get to this Coliseum kind of place, right? And now I'm looking for my sister, and I'm looking for my sister, and I'm looking for you, mom. And I don't see you guys. So I start to despair quite a lot. So I'm sitting next to the entryway, and then the other dude who I was from the Goo family comes inside the arena. Um, and I see him, and I'm like, "Hey, man!" And the Goo kid, the Goo survivor, I should say, um, says, "Hey, man, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. What's happening? I just escaped from the Goo family, and I have no idea what's going on." And he's like, "Shut up! Don't talk to me." Cause he survived so far by himself. And then goo-like creatures come in, and these goo people are actually nice. They're a different color from the other goos. Um, and they seem very chill, right? And they're not supposed to be fraternizing with us humans. And as the stadium begins to fill more, a battleship comes in and starts to try to capture humans. So everybody's fleeing. I don't know what to do. So I'm like, oh my God, where should I go? Because these goo people were trying to talk to me, and try to get my perspective on what's going on. And I'm like, I don't know. And then they don't get to escape because of everything that's happening. They were too focused on me, right? Um, and the other kid that turned into a dragon, he's gone. Everybody in the stadium's pretty much gone except for goo people. So I'm like, oh my God, I gotta hide. I gotta get out of here. And then the goo people know that they're going to be killed by their own people. So they're like, oh no. And then they do like some sort of attracting thing that turns them all into like a big goo ball. Every one of the goo people, and like, help, help. So I go over there and try to help them, and I get stuck to the goo wall. So now I'm trapped with them, and somehow they were able to separate. And they said, if they're gonna kill us, whatever. And they don't put up a fight. So I go inside the stadium building. I try to hide, right? And I go inside this room, this big chancellor room, and I see this ship that's this flying ship, literally like a flying ship that's circling the building. And it has a whole bunch of different aliens on there. And one is the commander, obviously, because I can hear him talking too. And he's doing like this big speech about how our weapons are good, but their weapons are great if we can combine our weapons together, into a kinetic kind of like energy based weapon. Um, and I see a shotgun on the wall. So I grab the shotgun, cock the shotgun, and now I'm hiding in the room. And I see that they can almost kind of see me from the window, but like, obviously they're not looking in. So next time they take their lap, I go close the shades, and I close the shades. And now I'm like, actually, they're close enough. I could shoot this guy. So I'm about to shoot him, and then I'm like, if I do that, they'll know I'm here for sure. But it's too late. I'm already spotted. So the commander sends his best soldier after me. This like 7 foot tall, jacked alien, right? And he's like some pale skin kind of thing. So he jumps in the building and tries to capture me, and I start running. And I start running and running and running, and I drop a claymore. There's a claymore, so I jump over the claymore, blows him up, but he's still chasing me. We run throughout this building for such a long time that we get to the guts of the building, and I realize that there's an escape tunnel. There's 2 escape tunnels, and I see my buddy who's down there. Well, another human who's down there, and he tells me which way to go, and that they have things plotted out, and that there's the rest of the humans that died in the first invasion. They got infected with some zombie virus, and they're hiding down here. So I start running, and the alien is still chasing us. He's heavy on us. Um, so I do all these methods to try to hide from him first, but he always finds me. So now I'm running and running and running, and then I go inside one of the tunnels, and there's a motorcycle. I'm supposed to use the motorcycle to get out of there and ride the wall a bit to go up, but there's zombies everywhere trying to stop me. And they do stop me, and I fall inside the water. I don't know what happened to that person. And then it cut to a different person who was going the other way, but then he was like, I'll stop and take care of this alien. And I take a couple of pop shots at him. I'm like, oh my God, this is not going to work. So I go the opposite way where the zombies were, and I hide because he says, There's no escape. The zombies, we did that. We can see through their eyes. We can see through your technology. There's no way to escape from us. We can see you right now. So I'm hiding up on the wall right now, like doing my best to actually hide in between an archway. And then eventually he comes to the archway, and I'm like, oh God. And I kick him in the face, and I manage to roll away. And from there, the dream kind of ends, but that's kind of when I was coming awake, and I had this thought to myself, if there was like an ice bag kind of thing, I could maybe hide my thermal energy. So I think that's what I ended up doing, but I don't remember the ending too much. But I'm pretty sure I didn't die, but I was hiding. No, I remember now. I hid inside like this fake pretend sugar bag, but it was had like ice and stuff like that in it. But he still knew where I was, and he ended up just shooting the bag, and I disintegrated.